What's going on, guys? It's Madman Plant. We are here at MJ BizCon rolling in the interviews because my goal is to be doing over 40 while I'm here. Last year was 22 and the year before that was 24.
Crushing. Wow.
I got Jay with me from Quick Flower, right?
DriFlower.
DriFlower, I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
I'm like reading Quick Connect, Harvest Systems. So with this, we all talk about post-harvesting and the value to have space and how to hang dry your plants. A lot of us hang dry. Not everybody has a canitrol or other means.
Yeah.
So with that being said, how does DriFlower really affect the post-harvest, and how does it help home growers, not just facilities?
Yeah, that's a great question. So DriFlower hang harvesting systems really streamline the process, and it starts with a flagship hanger, or J hanger, and what that does, it allows you to cut and hang your flower at the point of harvest. So for home growers, for instance, we have a kit that actually hangs in a tent in like 30 seconds. Once the kit is hung, the hangers go right onto the bar, they lock on right there, and you can actually cut and hang flower right there in the tent. So simple. So every scale, no matter if you're a home grower or you're a large scale outdoor cultivator, we've got a product for you. We've got exactly the right system that will streamline, save you time, save you money, and really properly organize your harvest in a way that is never been done before.
Yeah.
Truly, the harvest game is nets and string and wire and whatever you've seen your buddy do, and then you just do it a little better than that, right? You just rig it a little better. But that's really where it's evolved from. Because, cannabis has been illegal, for decades, nobody's bringing drying systems to the market. Nobody's thinking about that. Up to now, up to legalization, people just wanted to make it to harvest. If they got there, if they weren't robbed, if they weren't, arrested, if the bugs didn't get it, then they think about where they're going to dry it, right? Now, with legalization and SOPs and consistency, growers know that, 8 weeks out, 10 weeks out, they're harvesting. They know it. They need the equipment. They need it on time, and they need a streamlined process that's going to organize and really save them money.
Yeah.
Fuck, it's a tight market. You got to save money where you can, and this system does that.
Now, how does this system operate traditionally? Like, why would somebody want to invest in this over coat hangers?
That's a great question.
Over, adjustable curtain rods that I put up in my bathtub?
Absolutely. So with this system, you can hang at the point of harvest. Okay, and that's what this system does. It allows you to cut and hang the plant immediately. It doesn't need to lay in a tote. It doesn't need to start sweating and composting and while it travels, maybe 10 miles away. Great if it's going across the hallway, but a lot of times that's not the case. And furthermore, with a coat hanger, you're left to pull branches out one at a time. With the DriFlower system, branches slide off the end. So you can literally, this rack would empty in just a couple of minutes. Okay, so we're bringing down what traditionally you would bring a branch off of a net or through a trellis. Okay, one at a time. We're gonna slide 20 or 30 branches off of a hanger in 1 second. So the labor on the on the front end, we're cutting and hanging plants. They never lay down. They're always cut and hung, always fresh and pristine. On the tail end, because we've broken down branches and loaded hangers, they slide off and store into a tote like butter. I'm telling you, like once you get a taste of the system, you can never go back because of the efficiency, the organization, and the streamlined nature that it provides. There's truly nothing like it. Look at the Instagram. All you got to do, if you're a grower and you've never seen the system, go to the Instagram, go to DriFlower, and I guarantee you it will blow your mind compared to traditional net hang, trellis, wire, whatever there is. There's nothing that is purpose-built like DriFlower hang harvesting systems.
Now, one thing I like about it, when we were working with Canitrol, which you guys know.
Yeah, those guys are awesome.
We were at Grass Queen, which is owned by Jahala in Vermont. They're a grow facility, woman-owned. And they have a Canitrol unit, and they actually utilize the DriFlower rack system. And in our video that we shot of them, we show them reeling it in. And for the commercial growers and the big growers, what's even cooler is you harvest, you have a cart system, and if you have a giant Canitrol like a DC4, DC8, DC16, you're reeling this right into it. So not only, like you said, are you going right from production to hanging, but you're also making this where if you have 1,000 plants, you're just walking down the line with
That's
this
right.
instead of having to go back. We were at some dispensaries and grow ops where they have it on the net cell, like a trellis system. Then they have to put it in a container. Then they have to take that container there.
Yeah.
And how much time that takes away from a manufacturer, from a dispensary that's trying to get their harvest out. And another thing too is, in cities and places like Boston, where it gets extremely dry, extremely cold, when it comes to post-harvest, you only have a couple weeks before it gets dried out. You're losing terpenes, you're losing profile, it's degrading, it's off-gassing when it shouldn't be. And I see the direct value is you're putting it in and you can easily go in, go out.
Yes. Yeah, if it starts getting too dry too quick, you can get it down into a tote in no time. I'm talking like so fast, so a lot of things you just said there I want to touch on.
Go for
but
it.
yeah, really, it's just, Canitrol, man, those guys make great drying chambers.
Yep.
And we partner with them to provide the custom racks so you can cut and hang everything at the point of harvest, less touch points. And that's what we're talking about. We wanted to cut it and hang it, and then move it into position and leave it alone. Not have to pick it up, put it down, pick it up, put it down, move it here, move it there, go on a ladder, come down. That's time, and time is money.
Yep.
And so, when we can touch it less, we can save more money, we save more time. So that's one of the finer points of the system, is being able to cut and hang at the point of harvest. I say it again and again. Cut and hang at the point of harvest. From there, it gets moved to the dry room like butter. It's so simple. It's really, the system is really simple, but it's also very elaborate in the different functions that we provide. Right? We've got a ton of different racks. Yeah, we have different size hangers, but the hangers, unfortunately, they don't levitate yet.
Yeah.
So they need a rack. They've got to go somewhere. They've got to start on a harvest rack, then they're going to go to a dry rack. But we've got 20 dry racks. Again, we partner with Canitrol. We partner with PIP. We partner with, the list goes on and on.
Well, and you talk about confined spaces. Not everybody's dry room is as big as their grow space. So when you look behind us, like right here, imagine if this was all bud in a very small, maybe 8 foot by 10 feet.
Yeah, it's about 8 by 8. That's the 8 by 8 pod.
Yeah, by pod. Look how much cannabis, if you had vertical storage, you would be able to have in just this one area. And I think that's the benefit too is, we grow these plants and they become big. And the one thing about the Canitrol that I love, but one thing that you have to factor in is, well, a lot of this is going to have to be broken down, and to have stuff, like you said, picked up, put down, picked up, put down.
Yep.
We could literally come over here and start bucking our nicely, ready to go bud right into bins or anything, and it saves that harvest. And now you just have the stem, just take that, toss that out, we're done.
Yeah, it's so fast, guys. Again, to the efficiency of the space, we're typically, on average, we're getting 50% more volume on the hang harvesting system compared to a standard trellis or a net. And we see that time and time again. Now, if you're putting, people are concerned, it's going to mold, you're putting too much in there. Well, you put mold in, you're going to get mold. But generally speaking, we're getting 50% more capacity if you want to. It's available to get. That's a huge number.
Even me, because I use my bathroom with overflow when I have too much weed. I have the extendable shower racks.
I already know.
Curtains, everything. I've also wondered that too, but I think you're 100% right. If you have mold, the mold was going to be there way before. It's not going to develop within 24 hours or some rapid rate because you just have a lot of weed in one place. And that's also it's your responsibility to set out your environment. Make sure you have proper ventilation before you have proper temperatures and enough space, because even if we were talking about an 8 foot by 8 by space, if this is a closet and there's no way for that moisture to escape, then you probably are going to run into that situation.
100%. Yeah, I think mold is very misunderstood in the way that it damages crop and how it develops. I think that if you don't have mold and you bring, let's take a nice indoor crop. If you take an indoor crop, maybe it's even a little premature, not likely to have any mold, and you bring it into a room, as long as you have good atmosphere, it doesn't matter how packed it is, it's not going to mold.
Yeah, true.
It's just not going to. Now, if you bring pristine weed into a room and you have no ventilation, you have no dehu, it's hot,
exactly.
It's going to fucking mold in 2 seconds.
You're trying to grow in your garage,
it's like
dry in your garage, and it's 80 degree in your grow tent,
Yeah, so it's really more about atmosphere than it is and knowing what's coming in the room. Okay, a lot of outdoor growers, look, it's outdoor season, rain's coming. If it's ripe, if it's not moldy, it may not even be ripe, because that's when it begins to fully ripen. So naturally, if you bring it to full maturity, you're going to have a percentage of mold in there. Now, you have to be discerning when that's coming in. How much are you going to allow? I mean, you can't pick every piece out, and you can't do it on 5 acres.
It's not like a banana where you cut it out the bad spot.
That's right. So you've got to use your own discernment. How tight do we want to make these hangers? How good is our atmosphere? How good is it? It's case by case, truly case by case.
Yeah.
And that's the fine art of being a grower, is understanding what you're comfortable with, what actually does work, what won't spread the mold, how much mold can you put in there, because you know it's going in there, but get away with it with some, to mitigate it to some extent. You're going to have a 1%, 5% mold, whatever. You have to guaranteed outdoor.
And not
guaranteed.
And not to scare the beginners, but in a system like this, you have multiple layers of air pockets. So even if you were to have a full built out system, you have air gaps in here,
Exactly.
you have air gaps in here, and then also you have to remember too, when you first put your harvest in, it's going to be bushy like this. Absolutely. Where you can't see through. 2 to 4 days, they're going to be like, somebody's stealing my weed. Like, there was more weed. Where's my weed?
Absolutely.
So, there's limitations based on time and space.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. When you really load, especially the tent kit, like, if you're loading the tent kit with your tent harvest, it's packed day one. Like, you flip it upside down, you hang it in there, it's relatively packed. But the more you can break branches down, the more, when it does dry, it's going to shrink and consolidate.
Yep.
If you hang a whole plant, those branches that are sticking out at the bottom, they don't really drop properly. Nope. But if you can cut branches and pack them on top of each other, so that they kind of puff out like this, once they dry, they all lay in, and that hanger goes from a foot wide to like 6 inches wide. And so there becomes all this airflow. I mean, I could go on and on. Yeah, with a net, you've got airflow between the drapes, but with this system, you get airflow between the blades and also between the levels. So it really provides so much. Not only are you getting 50% more volume in here, you're getting actually more airflow because of the nature of the layout and the way these are, what's the word I'm looking for? Just the layout, how they lay out and the spacing. So, yeah, everything's better with the hang harvesting system. Whether you've got a 10 or you've got 100 acres, we've got a custom system for everyone, or an appropriate system for everyone.
Well, guys, we have more interviews coming. Before we end, how can we support DriFlower?
Go to the website, DriFlower.com. If you're a home grower, go buy a tent kit. They're a couple $100. It is a game changer. It'll change your life. Go to the Instagram, follow us at DriFlower.com, DriFlower. That's DriFlower with an I. Hang with us, you guys.
Awesome, guys. We have more podcasts coming your way here at Madman Plant.